to do at the hub. So where did it all begin? A couple of years ago, the garden started developing a couple of social and community outreach programs, such as vocational occupation training programs for autistic youth or for veterans suffering from post-traumatic syndromes. We started having programs for teenagers such as Bishvil and Green Teams coming to the garden, learning about horticulture and then doing wonderful volunteering hours in the city. We had עוד כמה דוגמאות שאני אפרט ואתם תראו כאן בתמונות לפנינו. And then it hit us, okay, this is more than just a couple of programs. We are answering an actual need, a need of the community, a need of Jerusalem, and we understood the tremendous potential we have at the gardens. We needed to think of some sort of mechanism that will keep all these groups working together, and a platform which will invite many more groups to come and share their ideas and have their programs. And having the gardens located between 7 neighborhoods in Jerusalem with 120 dunams of green lung centered in Jerusalem is really, really important for this. So after the 23 programs we had here, we started thinking, okay, what? How are we going to address these people? And we thought, and we said, okay, if we want to be truly sustainable, what we have to do is work with what's already out there and not reinvent ourselves. So we decided we'd go and meet various people and ask them what their dreams are, what they're doing, what they need, what they want, what they think of the gardens. And then came another question, well, who? Who do we address? And after thinking about this question, because we already have מחלקת חינוך ומחלקת הזמנות inviting people, but what sort of communities or populations does the hub want to bring in? So we thought of 2 main categories. The first one was organizations or people who have who are working with similar topics. With
topics that link to the topics of the garden.
Yeah, topics that link to the topics we have at the garden. And the second criteria, which we identified as important for us, is people who are influential, who are in key positions that have a lot of circles where they influence others. And in these 2 criteria, we identified a couple of groups. Some of them you could see here, social activists, green entrepreneurs, startups in the fields of clean tech and green tech, artists and designers, green artists and designers, gardeners, farmers. כל זה אתם יכולים לראות כאן במצגת שלידי. And then we got to the, so after the who, came the what. What did these people really think? So we wrote down 3 different questionnaires, and then, and get this is a part of my job, I just went out and met with more than 40 people. 40 people, which means more than 80 hours, 40 cups of coffee, 13 restaurants, 2 coffee shops, all of these, while I sit down and hear what these people think. Now, I didn't just ask them about their working space. I asked them about their lives. What do they need in their life? What do they dream? What do they want to get in 5 years? What will help them get there? I also asked them what they thought about the gardens, and that was really interesting, because many people told me that they see the gardens as a really inspiring place, as a place where knowledge sits, really reliable knowledge, as this very beautiful place in the center of Jerusalem. But then, in the same breath, they said that they see the gardens as being a little bit disconnected from what's really happening in Jerusalem because it's considered to be a little bit scientific or a little bit academic. And they thought, of course, that that could be bridged. And of course, that links to the idea of the hub, of what we want to do. Link the community and the garden and bridge over it together. So what came up during the interviews? Hanan said he wanted a garden on every roof. Tova's dream was that her 21 autistic child will have a place to go. This green tech startupist said that he wanted a place to reinvent his business. And people started sharing their dreams and saying what they needed. Now, it was really nice and really inspiring to listening to all these people. But then we said, okay, how could we really have this professional and not just story-like? So we put all this into the graph you see right in front of you. We summed up all of the things people needed, all their tasks and what they wanted, into these 15 main things. And we started thinking, how can we identify between what's more important or what's less important? So we came up with this counting system where in the first column we gave a grade between 1 to 4 as to how important this thing was for people. So for instance, if they needed a meeting space, or if they needed more a way to get resources. And that was graded between 1 to 4. 1 was not important, 4 was really important. Then the next column, we graded how much it will impact their business or their enterprise, whether they have it or not. Now, in the third column, we graded it as to what the competition is in the city, with people answering this need. So, for instance, are there any more people providing meeting spaces? Are there any more people providing horticultural knowledge? And we graded that. Now, the last column was grading how important it is for us, for the gardens, for the hub, to have a meeting space or to have a way to share resources. And just before I get to the next slide and show you what we came up with, which was really interesting, what would you say people's top priority, top interesting thing, top thing they needed was? Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay, computers. That's really interesting. Well, this is what we came up with. The top thing people needed was time. Time. We thought of all these great ideas, spent all these hours listening to these people, drank all these cups of coffees and all of that to get something that us as a garden we can't provide. We grow trees, we don't grow time. So that was a really big crisis for us. We sat around and we said, okay, well, we can't really answer what these people need. And we started thinking, okay, what can we do? What can we do? And then something came up, and we started seeing it not as the end, but as an opening. It's not like time, okay, there's nothing we could do about it. We just needed to ask further in, time for what? And when we started asking these people and understanding time for what, really interesting things came up. So for instance, a lot of people were spending time on bureaucracy with City Hall. A lot of people were spending time in getting marketing for their business. A lot of people were spending a lot of time in meeting all these different people. And all of these ideas and all of these desires we can address. And if we have all that inside our hub, that could be really useful for these people. So, after we took all these different categories, after we interpreted it into two main fields of services the hub will provide. One is connectivity and networking, and the other is professional development. Now, do you remember we talked about Moshe wanted a roof on זה on every זה, אז פה הוא יקבל ייעוץ וזה וזה. זוכרים את זה, פה הוא יקבל ייעוץ וזה וזה. That's our hub. So the really cool thing about our hub, I guess, it's not just a working space. It's a garden as a hub. So if people need the scientific department, that's going to be where they sit with their computer. If people need land for research, that's going to be the place where they come. If people want to meet people, if this artist is going to work next to this green tech entrepreneur, next to this social activist, the cross-fertilization is going to happen. And I think if we started talking about us as Jerusalem, getting people together, not only with what they're different in, but with how they relate. הכי קיצ'י שלי, אבל אנחנו נחשוב על משהו יותר טוב, זה יהיה שלום עולמי, אתם אמריקאים ואתם אוהבים דברים כאלה. שווינק, thank you very much.